All right, Clint, I got three good topics today. So SpaceX is getting into the cell phone game, man. They just did a $17 billion deal with EcoStar to buy some bandwidth that will allow them to do like satellite to cell phone connectivity, right? It was a big deal, $17 billion deal, right? So here's my question. So SpaceX now has like a $413 billion valuation. They're like turning on Starlink in all of these countries in Africa and South America and Asia. Like revenue's really starting to ramp. Obviously they're making great progress with Starship, right? But this is really interesting to me because you could argue that this is even really different than Starlink, right? The direct to cell phone service. Like, what do you think of that business? Is that like going to be a real business? Do you think they're going to be competing with like Verizon and T-Mobile? Will people use it? Like, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, it's more than that. It's going to be a carrier overlay too, right? So at the end of the day, I mean, everything is coming down to data and compute. And when you think about it now, the phones we walk around with, the majority of the population walks around with, are supercomputers, more powerful than the computer that put us on the moon. So when you start to think about how much data, we had a 35% year over year jump in mobile data, 132.5 trillion megabytes. That is, you need scale. And, I remember when a lot of people had the big audacious goal of bringing the internet to rural areas, into untouched areas, into underserved areas, into impoverished areas, to other countries, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I remember remember Google had the balloons.
Oh yeah.
Right. They had that big project. Yep. A lot of people were trying to create this. How do we connect the globe? And SpaceX did it. Starlink did it. And I think when you consider the infrastructure, the 8,000 Starlink satellites, you consider what this is going to mean as a direct to cellular service, it is massive.
Right.
Question is, can you get it through? Right.
Yeah.
Because EchoStar, what don't they have some other? They have AT&T. They have an AT&T, couple buyouts. There's like 24 billion or something. They got to get that through. This has to go through. So FCC has to approve all this.
Right.
I'm hopeful, but yeah, this is massive, man.
Yeah. SpaceX just continues to surprise. I mean, this
execute.
Was kind of, they're for sure execute, but they continue to surprise, like standing up new businesses that I think folks didn't really see coming, right?
I mean, did you see a direct to cellular satellite or a carrier overlay? Like, this is a CapEx arbitrage for a carrier. Everybody's like, oh, it's going to compete. Yeah, it might, but it's also going to be what the carriers tap into.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, there's probably big portions, especially in the United States, and then who knows where else they're going to turn this on at, what other countries or continents they turn this on at too, right? So, I mean, there's going to be some really interesting revenue opportunities for the company. But this is what I'm saying. Like, this is my thing with SpaceX is like, the ability to launch payload to space is going to open up so many different businesses for that company that I think I don't think everyone fully appreciates the stuff coming down the pipe, right? Like I keep talking with people about SpaceX about how it's like a mining company, right? They're going to be able to mine stuff on the moon, mine stuff on Android. Yeah, right. I mean, it's a real thing. So it's not I don't think it's one revenue stream or two revenue streams. It's going to be a multi-revenue stream. It's going to be like a diversified, base of revenue.
Elon Musk builds platforms. He doesn't just build a singular purpose business, right? He builds platforms, and this is a robust platform.
Yeah. It's the Apple App Store of space.
Yeah, exactly. Right, so of space, of logistics, now of cellular, of internet connection, wild.
Yes. All right. Another company that's crushing it is Anduril, right? So these guys just announced, my math had it, $1.26 billion worth of new contracts. They got a $1.1 billion deal with the Australian Navy for an underwater autonomous submarine. Okay. And then they just did a deal with the U.S. Army for AI-driven night vision and kind of augmented reality, like an Oculus type glasses, like a right? For the
I
helmet.
think he knows a thing or two about that, right?
100%. So like, so what? Okay, Anduril's a monster. Here's my question for you, man. Like, if you look at the defense primes, they kind of range from like 50 billion to 200 billion, right? I mean, Palantir is out there in the public markets. I haven't looked at the revenue multiple in a while, but it was like 100x at one point.
Yeah.
It was
No, not
huge.
100x sales, bro. Not 100.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
wild, right?
Sales,
I
not
mean,
profits.
that's
Yeah.
like that is a lot. That's really high. But here's the question for Anduril. Like if Anduril was a publicly traded company, there's probably potential it could have 100x sales revenue multiple, right? Or multiple. But do you think this company, like, where do you think this company ends up in the long run? Like I keep looking at the defense primes and they're like 50 to 200 billion. I mean, like Anduril's got kind of, one customer. They got the Department of Defense. They got maybe European countries. They got like Australia, like they did this deal with, right? I mean, there's X amount of dollars per year to spend. You know what I mean? It's like that.
This
What do you think?
This is not a legacy defense contract. This is a disruptive software company that's disrupting defense. And it's massive. And this industry is massive. And here's why I like it. In a deglobalizing world where you have these regional, how do I say this politely? You have regional cohorts that are really built around trade that become defense partnerships. No more, everyone trying to defend the entire, or the U.S. trying to defend the whole globe, right, at the end of the day, and police globalization and trade routes. This now becomes about who, and it's a Ricky Bobby economy, right? It's a Ricky Bobby industry because if you're not first, you're last in this environment.
Yeah.
And AI is the accelerant. So this is a national and regional security issue. And we have to do a couple things I'm going to speak from the US's perspective to maintain our position as a superpower and an empire. And that is, number one, we have to regionalize trade. We have to onshore certain key supply chain issues, especially around tech innovation and chip manufacturing. We have to absolutely make sure that we protect South America and Canada, so our regional trade partners, so that we can solidify and guarantee that we can ship natural gas and oil, and we can import labor, right? Very critical to us being what we need to do. And then we need the defense capabilities and the leadership there to continue to back our ability to print money. Because everybody's like, oh, we can't just continue to print. Absolutely, we can continue to print. We can print until we're going to print more money than you'll ever believe. But guess where it's going to go? It's going to go into AI and tech and infrastructure and defense. Because military spending has to be there in order to protect our ability to print money or borrow money in our own currency, which means print money to pay back the bill. And that is what that's what keeps us in the empire seat. And anyone that doesn't support military spending to be the leader there doesn't support us being the empire and being the world's reserve currency.
So that said, then, so your thinking is the amount of military spending is going to continue to go up in the U.S. It sounds like you believe Anduril is going.
Too.
Okay, and then you believe Anduril is going to continue to win market share, and
not only in the U.S., but they're going to win it globally among our allies.
And then maybe is a third point as well, because it's like this high tech, AI first business, it's going to have a higher multiple valuation.
It's going to destroy the competition. It's going to take all the market share. And when you start to think about you start running down the rabbit hole of what this means for this company. Yeah, man, it's massive.
Well, plus two, Clint, I don't know if you knew this, but Anduril sponsors Ohio State athletics, which I'm a Buckeye, right? And if you look at now, they had this ad up at the Horseshoe. That's the football stadium in Columbus, Ohio, right? It says Anduril, protect the shoe. Come on. I mean, how do you not like this company?
They're building that big facility in Ohio. I mean, I literally.
They are, big manufacturing facility in Ohio.
If you said, Clint, what's your favorite companies in the pre-IPO space? Anduril would be at the top, in the top 3.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So this is what I've been telling. This is what I've been telling customers.
One more thing. What are we going to export as a nation in a deglobalizing world? We're going to export what we're the masters at. We're going to export military.
Right.
And we're going to export defense goods.
True.
he is aligned with
Yeah,
what he like. I just can't get happier about this AI and its alignment with deglobalization and what keeps us in the catbird seat. So I'm all for it. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah.
But what you're
I mean,
telling people?
I know I keep telling advisors and everybody. I think this company's like, because like, look, I like to keep things like rational on a base case level. You know what I mean? I'm like, look, I think this is a $150 billion business, like rock solid, with like an incredible risk adjusted return profile. Right. So it's trading like 51, 52 billion right now. So it's like a 3x from here. And then I'm
But
like,
on what
if it
revenue?
goes public,
What's its projected revenue now?
well, I'm saying 20x revenue multiple, but I mean, to your point, like there's huge upside potential.
Well,
right?
Didn't it just it closed the deal with the U.S. Army early in the year for like 20 something billion, 22,
Oh yeah,
23
I mean that's part
multi-year
of those.
deal. But
Yeah, I mean, it has potential. But listen, this is what I'm saying. Like, if you can look, I think I feel very confident looking somebody in the eye and being like, Anduril's a 3x in like 3 years, right? With very solid risk adjusted return, like very, I'm not comfortable downside risk, right? Like that's a great. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with 3x in 3 years? And if it goes better, if it ends up all the things that you just said, right? Some of these things start to play out, then that's just incremental upside, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I like this thing. But like I'm trying to temper people's expectations.
I can't. I am more excited. I'm more excited. Like the three themes I think that dominate the macro landscape for the next 20 years are deglobalization, what that means. Number two is AI and technological disruption. Like we're in a leap, and it's amazing. And then the third thing is fiscal dominance,
right?
Which is eloquently saying we're going to print money. And so it just aligns with all three. I'm just like, man, I couldn't think of a better company more aligned with where we are globally. From a positional perspective, they've got the wind. I mean, they got to execute, but they have got the wind in the sails.
I mean, plus Palmer, look, he's like a real life Tony Stark, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean,
everybody's like Elon Musk. I'm like, no, this guy, man.
I think it's him. It's like, honestly, like I wouldn't be surprised if the guy comes up with something. I mean, he was on the Sean Ryan podcast. I don't know if you ever listened to that guy, but he was talking about like an exoskeleton suit, and he was like running around and running a 4-minute mile, and this guy's like Tony Stark, and he's like building it himself. He's like Tony Stark. This guy.
It really is.
There's something about a founder of a company like that who's already a billionaire, and he's like building stuff in his garage. It's incredible, right?
It's crazy.
All right. So last one I want to hit on. So OpenAI and Microsoft, this is like all over the news here in the last couple of days. They're kind of, it sounds like they've kind of agreed, okay, on like this for-profit or nonprofit to for-profit flip. Okay. And of course it's got to get past the states and everything, but I have a sneaking suspicion it'll get through those once Microsoft kind of agrees, right? So here's the thing, like, not to get into the details of this thing. This is the thing I want to talk to you about. Once OpenAI becomes a normal, fastball down the middle, for-profit company, regular cap table, right? How many more people come off the sideline to want to invest in this thing? Because right now it's kind of a very like interesting structure. Or do you think it doesn't matter? Like everybody who wants in right now is in, or is trying to get in. Like what do you think?
I think what we've seen is that the IPO market is open and the equity markets are functioning really well. And anything in the AI play, the money's there. And
okay, but I'm talking private market investors. I'm talking like let's say you're a pension fund and you're a CIO and you're like, oh man, I just can't get my head around going into OpenAI because they have this like nonprofit for-profit structure right now. It's too confusing. Like I love the business, I love the leadership, like I love where it's going. It's placing.
I think.
Do you think people care about that anymore?
No, I think this opens it up, right? If you think about the public benefit corporation, what it's doing is it's kind of like mission with muscle. It's just acknowledging the fact. Fact is, in order for us to scale and hit our goals, which is for the public benefit, we need to raise a lot of capital because that's the game and that's the rules we live by. I don't think that's a bad scenario at all. And actually, it's just an acknowledgement and shows self-awareness. I think to hide behind something that's not really conducive to you reaching your mission, and that's false, and that feels, it doesn't feel authentic. And I think that would hurt the trust in the company, at least from my perspective, more than just saying, hey guys, when we started this, we didn't know what we had. now we have something that can really make a difference and is making a difference in people's
Right.
lives. And in
Right.
order to hit our mission, we've got to raise $1 trillion in capital,
Yeah, right.
realistically.
Which you
And I
can't
think
do as a nonprofit.
you can't do it. And I think
Yeah.
people say, you know what? I can get with that.
Yeah.
Right. It's when you don't offer clarity that there's a problem.
Right. I mean, my thing, I think, so to me, like, I'm trying to get my head around like the supply and demand dynamics of this. Like, I think 25% more people come off the sidelines and they're like, now I can invest into this thing because the cap table's clean, right?
It's clean. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think there's going to be a lot more demand for OpenAI stock, whether it's private or public, right? Because this is a clean corporate structure. You know what I mean?
Well, the
and
multiple
also too, man,
arbitrage
like,
is
listen,
back
I
in
think
the
similar
market,
to
man.
like, yeah,
It's
but
back.
also too, like Clint, like I think like just like CoreWeave went public, right? Because I think it needed to take on debt. I wouldn't be surprised to see OpenAI go public for the same reasons. Like, it's got all these data centers and everything that it wants to build out, and it leveraged, it use debt instead of equity to finance some of this stuff, right? But I think it's better to be public to do that than to be a private company.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Well, listen, that's what I had for us today. Anything else on your mind, man, as it relates to pre-IPO stocks?
I mean, it's just exciting to be in the space, to see all the change. It's the best time to be alive, as you and I talk about. And if you're an advisor, you've got to partner with AG Dillon, because at the end of the day, what a better way to compete. I see it. I'm doing the large cases as the head of the asset management division. I'm doing the large cases with these, huge wealthy families and these big clients, and it is exciting. It gets them access to things. It's about optimism and opportunity, instead of saying, you need to move some to bonds or diversify, whatever. Like, I feel like Wu-Tang Financial from the Chappelle Show. You need to diversify your bonds.
That's right.
But at the end of the day, like, that's not exciting. Like, yeah, asset allocation drives it. But at the end of the day, let's talk about what's going on exciting and why we invest in the first place. And I don't know, since being partnered with you, it's really changed my perspective to a more optimistic one, because there's something
that's good, man.
There's a lot of cool things out there. So that's my shout out to you, and a thanks to you for all that you do for the advisor community, and for the advisors listening. Got to partner with AG Dillon, man. There's no better.
Listen, I do think on the optimistic side of things, I do think we're like on the verge of a decade-long bull market, right? I mean, there's so many good things.
Here comes the boom. I think I actually think the private sector. I was talking about this the other day with my Uber driver, and I was telling you before we hopped on what my goal was last week. So I'm talking to the Uber driver on the way to the Dallas airport, and we started talking about trades, and we started talking about how we needed 500,000 electricians. And I was like, man, I actually think the time we're going through right now, the technological leaps, everything we're going through, this deglobalization, these big mega trends, I feel like they're driving the growth we need in the private sector to support a rising up of the bottom 50 to 90%. I actually think we've never been a better time for that, because what's AI disrupting? It's disrupting the financial advisors, the lawyers, the accountants, the white collar, high income earners. But what do you need? You need trades. It's going to accelerate those. And I'm like,
that's right.
This is so exciting. I mean, it's so exciting for the middle class. I think everybody was talking about the middle class is dead or going the way of the UK. I think if we embrace the movement now in this AI wave, I think we're going to create a huge growing middle class in the United States, all back on small business and trades. And I couldn't be a better time. Now, then the question is, who's going to pay for it? And I just say the government, because at the end of the day, it's going to be UBI.
Oh, yeah. No, but I think the math will all make sense, right? Yeah. I mean, I think that's what the nice thing about the AI, and this is kind of the stuff I see coming paired with the robotics, which those two things are very much intertwined, right?
They can't function without the other.
That's right. So I think it's going to be I was a student of China for a long time, went on there, and they had a very big focus in their 5-year plan, like 2 5-year plans ago, about high-end manufacturing, right? So it's not like someone just sitting down and sitting around in the conveyor belt and just doing the same thing all the time. High-end manufacturing, using robotics, using this stuff. Like, we can pull a lot of manufacturing back to the country, but you need really thoughtful, sophisticated people right, to do that work and be on the ground on the floor, like making those machines work. And you can produce a lot of stuff here, right? But you can't just do it. You can't. The robots just won't run those things by themselves. Like, you're still going to need people there, right? So I think you're going to see like this. I think this great intersection of bringing home manufacturing back to the United States, but doing that with high-end robotics and technology, which is going to provide like really great jobs for people. You know what I mean? Like, to your point, like trade jobs, right?
Yeah. Think about what we're going to be able to produce. I mean, just do as a nation. That's how we gotta inspire the private sector. And I think it's never been a better time, man. So
yeah, I'm pretty excited as an investor. Like, the stuff I see coming down the pipe, I see there's going to be some pretty incredible investment opportunities. So yeah, a lot of tech. So get ready.
everything's tech now. I feel like we mess up stuff with words like AI. Like, why don't we just say fancy computer, right? Better computer than you've ever had before.
That's right.
I feel like we mess things up with language. Like, everything's tech, right? At the end of the day, we've been using technology since we were cavemen, and that wasn't that many people ago.
That is true. Like, well, it is. Do you agree? It's a little bit of a paradigm shift. I mean, I think because we'll be using tech as humans in a different way than I think we had in the past.
It's a leap, right? We've always had these technological leaps, and I think this is, they're all the most profound and exponential. So,
yeah, it's going to be fun. All right, brother. It was good talking to you, man. Thanks for doing this.